So, let me do some stuff behind the scenes. We're going to our friends over at Vault sent us a book to check out, uh, and it's so I asked the guys to read it because it's by a creator that I really like. We're going to talk about Deathstalker, and then the more I looked into this book, I was like, "Oh, this is monkey bananas." Uh, so let's talk about the creative team before we get into this. Uh, this is Slash presents Deathstalker. Now, when I say Slash presents, I do mean Slash from the Guns N' Roses, the guitarist. So that right. So that was the first thing where I was like, "What the fuck?" Uh, this is
Oh, I remember that. Okay.
there's a story by Slash and Steven Kostanski. I think they had maybe something to do with the original Deathstalker. This is written by Tim Seeley with art by Jim Terry, colors by Kurt Michael Russell, letters by End World Design. Now, are you guys familiar with Deathstalker, the character? I think it's a movie, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
I
No.
think Jeff. Anything?
Yeah, I've heard of Deathstalker before. I'm not. This is the first book I've ever read. It
Okay.
does that. Yeah, I've seen it before though.
Well, then let me give you a little bit here. So, the cult classic warrior hero, Deathstalker, burst into the comic scene from an all-star lineup of creators, including Slash from Guns N' Roses and writer-director of FX Wizard Steven Kostanski. So, he's done Psycho Goreman, The Void. So, like, I'm sure that's stuff you guys are familiar with.
I love Psycho Goreman.
In this book, Deathstalker finds himself once again caught between forces larger than himself, a virgin worshipping cult, a sorcerer hell bent on saving the world through mad science, and the pissed off army of Abrexan Kingdom, not to mention his ex lover, Princess Evie. Monsters, magic, and mayhem abound. Can't a guy just swing his sword anymore? So, to me, this felt like, oh, Deathstalker is just like Edgelord Conan or something, right?
Yeah.
So, Clay? I'll go to you first. What did you think of the book?
I at first I was like, oh, we're gonna have like this serious kind of, maybe it's a Conan knockoff or something, but then it starts to get like funny and it drops like jokes and stuff in it.
Yeah.
And if any of you have ever seen Heavy Metal, there's a story in there called Den of Earth where the character is narrated by John Candy. It gives me that kind of vibe. It's like a fantasy world with some comedy to it, like there's this element of this character who is super violent, but also like he's got a pretty funny attitude about shit.
Yeah.
And also there's but that one thing I had a problem with, there's like a lot of weird animal death in here that is like supposed to be funny. That was like there's a part where his horse is speared and the horse kind of has this like, reaction. It's like,
right.
Man, maybe we don't need to see that. I mean, I know it's just it pulls you out of it for a second, but like all the other stuff is like hilarious. Like, even though he has this one scene where he has, is it a rhinoceros that he kills to stop. So he shoves a sword up its ass and it goes down, and then the rider is impaled on the horns, which is one of the coolest bits in there. But it was like, we got to shove a sword up a animal's ass.
Well, it's either that or Jim Carrey comes out of it.
But yeah, it's got like that level of humor of Den of Earth, where this guy is like just trying to go around, be a barbarian, hook up with some chicks, and have a good time. Right. And these cults are not having it.
All right, Jeff, what did you think of the book?
I had an interesting ride with the book because I thought initially it was part of the barbaric universe.
Right, me too.
Also, and so I love the barbaric stuff.
Yeah,
like Michael Morrissey barbaric stuff. So I like got into it all excited, and I was like, not that I don't like Tim Seeley. I was just like, oh, this isn't that at all. So as I was reading it, my brain was like, this is not what I was expecting it was, even though it's kind of in the same vein.
Right.
Ironically, the thing that got me into it was when the horse got killed, like in such a graphic way. and then I was like, okay, well, I actually, honestly, to be honest, I enjoy Barbaric a little bit more, but I can see where they
Right.
kind of occupy different lanes though. So, but then when I got to the end and I saw that there is a Deathstalker versus Barbaric book at some point in the future that they've
Oh,
advertised,
nice.
now I'm 100% in. I enjoyed the book. It's a little bit bawdier than like what Barbaric is, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
So it's not quite my cup of tea. Uh, it wasn't quite as fun as I find Barbaric to be, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
yeah. I'm on the same boat as Jeff, pretty much. Like, there's a lot of aspects of the book that I think like, oh, this is funny, or like this is gross and gnarly, and I mean, like I said, I saw Team Silly's name and I was like, okay, we're in for a ride, right?
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of dong in this book that I was not
This is
expecting.
dong heavy. This is so dong
If
heavy.
you thought Watchmen had a lot of dong, you haven't read Deathstalker. That should be
There's
the
even
full
a
quote.
panel.
That
Are
should
you
be
talking
the
about the
quote.
one?
That should be the quote, and for us from the book. More
Yeah.
dong than Watchmen. Um,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, because there's like one panel where like he's going to fight the big bad, and of course the guy's naked, and he looks over and he sees, and they do a full panel of the dong,
yeah.
and then they
So
go back to him, and he does
it,
kind of the
it's really funny.
Hank
Like,
Hill of like,
yeah.
I
So I do have
don't
some
want
preview
to.
art here, and
hey,
I had to censor part of it for
part of it.
YouTube. Well, just because I picked the pages that didn't have as much.
Yeah.
Although I guess we do see some like creature butt.
Some
But
light
yeah,
decapitation.
yeah. Um, I like his friend a lot.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate, but yeah, like overall the art really fits the tone of the story. I think it's not
Mhm.
my favorite stuff either. Like, it does look at some point it's like, oh man, that's a lot. Like, we're dealing with a lot. And this is sometimes the reason that I don't get through a full heavy metal magazine
Oh,
in the
really?
same way,
Yeah.
because I'm
Yeah.
like, it can be a lot at once. This book also, I didn't expect it to be so long. It's oversized for sure.
Yeah.
But it gives you a lot of story. Deathstalker is not like a character that I don't think you're supposed to like really like as much. He's
No.
just like out on his own, right? Him and his sword, like that's his only true friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was. But there's some really cool visuals. Like, I picked up this page here. Like,
The violence is over the
yeah,
top fun because it is just him going crazy.
yeah. Creature design, the world building, like it's there. I know there's definitely a big audience for this. Like I said, this isn't fully this stuff that I like to follow, but I definitely thought I had a good time with the book as well. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. There is a moment too where like he meets a guy where they're about to battle, and the guy like admires his sword, and they kind of do fist bumps, which is probably my favorite scene in
yeah,
there, just because it's like it takes that moment and encapsulates their friendship in just like 6 panels.
yeah,
Perfect storytelling.
yeah. So all right. Anything else you guys want to say about Deathstalker?
Like I said, I compared a lot to Den of Earth, but that's like, oh my God, Richard Corbin stuff. And
Okay.
that's so like high level humor and art that like if you've never read Den of Earth, I put it in the show notes. There's a link to a Dark Horse book out there.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay.
Barbarians are back, baby.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. We got
Funny and
Josh been
violent.
reading over the Conan books over at Titan, and so all right, well, let me end this. So thanks to Walt for sending this to us. Really appreciate it every time we get to see comics and events. And I'll end this by showing some really cool variant covers.